text from the former president's son, Donald Trump Jr. He's been on the phone with his father. He was not at the event. He says, as we've been reporting, his father is doing fine. He's doing fine. That's from Donald Trump Jr., the son of former President Donald Trump.
I understand our political reporter, Ed O'Keefe, is standing by. I believe he's in Milwaukee. Ed, are you there? Can you hear me?
That's right. Margaret, I can. Can you hear me?
I can. Ed, we already knew that Milwaukee was in a heightened level of preparedness security-wise because this is a large gathering. All large gatherings these days are highly scrutinized, but for the RNC, there's high security. Do you have any sense on the ground if protocols are changing, or if any of the Secret Service you're seeing there has any indication of what went wrong?
We are, during the day, in the hours before this, we observed local police and other police agencies that get sent here to assist Milwaukee local police in dealing with things like traffic control, crowd control. They were out and about sort of reviewing the lay of the land, getting a sense of it. In the hours since then, we haven't seen a few blocks from the convention site any real change in police posture. But we know that around the time the former president's campaign rally was beginning, coincidentally, the so-called security sweep, or the thorough review of everything inside the convention perimeter, was beginning, led by the Secret Service. It was supposed to continue into the overnight hours. We'll see now if it is potentially extended a few hours or not. And we'll also see, as Major was reporting earlier, whether there's any change to events that are scheduled to begin tomorrow. I know of one, for example. Convention attendees from the 50 states and the territories are invited to a large outdoor music and festival area on the shores of the lake here for a big event tomorrow night. We'll have to see if that is changed in any way, given that it is an outdoor event, like the campaign event in Pennsylvania. But otherwise, hotels here are beginning to fill up. Preparations are underway. One other piece of politics that's worth conveying, Margaret, while we're waiting to see what exactly Republicans decide to do with their convention, the Biden campaign let it be known moments before the president spoke that the Biden campaign itself is moving tonight to stop all television and digital advertising across the country to acknowledge this moment, and is working to ensure that all outbound communication to voters, in essence, that's fundraising appeals and advertising, is stopped to mark this event. That is a notable pause, given that upwards of $50 million were supposed to be spent this month on that kind of advertising and other outreach.
Well, Ed, what you're saying, just to put it in context, this is already affecting the operations of a campaign 4 months out from Election Day,
right.
But it is also a choice, a deliberate choice being made by the Biden campaign to say this is not the moment for politics. It was very quickly that they got the president on air. Tell me what you thought about the language chosen by the president and the thinking in the White House and trying to tamp down any kind of perhaps retaliation.
When the current president speaks about his predecessor and bitter political rival, I had never heard him before refer to him in that way, as Donald. To Adriana's earlier observation, I would surmise, based on years of tracking him, that that's exactly what he was trying to do, sort of tamp down the politics of this and try to emphasize the humanity. Donald, after all, is a man, is a human being, is a father, is a grandfather, is someone who's followed and adored by millions of Americans and people around the world. So the fact that he very clearly said from the beginning, I'm trying to talk to is notable, and we'll see whether or not that happens. And the president didn't rule out speaking again tonight to try to help quell concerns across the country. That response, different to the one that Trump made in the moments after this, though, perhaps understandable. And we'll just have to monitor here in the coming hours how these two leaders, and perhaps former presidents, Margaret, consider speaking out or doing something to try to quell the obvious rancor and violence that we've seen today and could potentially see over the next 3.5 months as the campaign continues.
Yeah, and Adriana, apologies if you've already reported that, but our Pat Milton is saying we now know the weapon used was a rifle, that the shooter used that. And in that video we were showing earlier of the downed individual appeared to be wearing fatigues. You couldn't see the weapon. And we don't know that that's the shooter, but we believe that that video does reflect